back to the information and conversation with Matt. This is your Houston Morning News.
KTRH News Time is 7:16. Joining me, Julia Holcomb. Julia was 16 when she became the legal ward of Steven Tyler, lead singer of Aerosmith and current American Idol judge. She joins us now. Julia, this is such an incredible story. Why did nobody intercede on your behalf? Nobody came up and said you shouldn't be with this guy at 16 years old.
Well, I'm not really sure why. I didn't hear a lot of those hard questions being introduced to Steven, but it could be because he was making a lot of money for a lot of people. He had a very successful career, and I remember that he really was able to live his life above those kind of questions.
The event that you and I will be appearing at together, we'll talk more about in just a moment, but it has to do with your redemption is what I'm calling it. You became pregnant with his baby. At one point, you had gone through a very traumatic fire. He came to you in the hospital and he said that he wanted you to abort that baby. Tell me a little bit about that conversation.
Well, it was a very difficult conversation. I was in the hospital recovering from a fire that had nearly claimed my life. It was a fire that the doctors had thought would take my life. They were very surprised when I woke up, and I was able to answer their questions. And I was in the hospital for several days, and I was beginning to recover and feel better when Steven introduced the idea of my having an abortion. We had previously planned on marrying, and I was looking forward to having my baby very much. So it was a shock to me, and we had a long argument that day in the hospital. In the end, Steven placed the decision as a question of a choice between him and my baby. And in the end, in fear, I caved in and I made the wrong decision. It's a decision that I regretted in my whole life. Abortion is a choice that really leaves two victims. It takes the life of an innocent baby, and it leaves the mother wounded and grieving. I believe it also left Steven very wounded. He told me later that he was racked with guilt over the abortion, and he's mentioned it in publicly that it was something that had caused him a great deal of grief. That was my experience as well. It was something that really destroyed our relationship. I don't think we could ever look at each other again without remembering that horrific abortion.
Julia, and I thank you so much. You and I have been talking quite a bit. You were on my talk show on the 950 on Friday. Just incredible. So many emails on that. Listen, hang on. When we come back, you speak now as a pro-life advocate, as do I. We are going to be appearing at an event on March 9th. I want to tell people about that, how they can hear more of your incredible story, and it is truly incredible. Julia Holcomb joining us. Just an incredible story. When she was 16, became the legal ward of Steven Tyler. Ended up carrying his baby, had it aborted, as you've heard, and now is a pro-life advocate. And Julie and I will be speaking. She is the keynote speaker at the 2012 benefit dinner called Hand of Hope for the Houston Coalition for Life. Julia, I am so pleased that you will be here. Now, you live in the state of Texas, so this is home turf for you.
Yes, it is, and it's my first time speaking here in Texas about this dark passage of my life. It's something that I never dreamed I would ever speak about publicly. Steven had written about our relationship, and he had mentioned my abortion in his first book that he wrote many years ago, but he didn't use my name. And I'm married. I have a beautiful family. I've been married for 30 years. I have 6 sons, and we had made the decision not to tell my sons about my relationship with Steven, and certainly not about the horrific abortion that I had endured. But when Steven became a judge for American Idol, he wrote a new book, and in it he acknowledged me by name. He wrote about my abortion. Star Magazine picked up his story, and they wrote about it as if it was accurately given the way he had written about it. It was very inaccurate and demeaning in the way that he had described our relationship and also my abortion. And one of my sons came across the story. They saw the picture of me, they read my name, and they recognized this was their mother. And we had to do a silent no more talk at home in our living room and tell my sons about my relationship with Steven and this horrible abortion that I endured.
Julia, I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is such an incredible story, and I want folks to come to the benefit dinner and hear more of this story. So you can go to my Facebook page at mattpatrickshow.com and click on the Facebook icon, HoustonCoalitionForLife.com as well. And again, it is March 9th. Julia will be the keynote speaker. And God bless you for what you do, and thank you for taking the time. You have been so generous with your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you next week, and just giving you a big hug, Julia, for all you do.
Thanks a lot, Matt.